Guys, today we'll create our own mini survey app. Okay, using the JavaScript. Okay, that is JavaScript, of course. Okay, this is our JavaScript, and we'll be using what you call this, the basic math function of your JavaScript. Okay, and of course we'll use the DOM. DOM is part of your HTML and JavaScript. That is the comment object model, and well, we will dissect and use the um, form and its methods. Okay, now let us start. So if you were not able to watch my previous video, please watch. You can see that in the description below. Okay, let's start. So we have here to do the first header, the doc type, and do the HTML. Okay, let's put the title. Okay, so you can follow in this video the same, and of course, please watch the entire video so that you can learn in this application. Okay, the example, the title would be a survey app form. This is a micro only. This is small application. It's up to you to develop this. Okay, so the meat of the discussion will entirely focus to the commands of your Java. Okay, so we have here the head and we have here the slash head. Now, we can use the CSS, but this is not our target. Okay, we can use even the bootstrap. Okay, in our next video, we'll teach you how to use the bootstrap and of course how to use and to invoke the WC CSS3. Okay, W3 CSS. Okay, so we can use the CDN for that. CDN stands for content. Okay, I suppose you know this, delivery. Okay, network. So without installing the program, you can work in this CDN. Okay, now let us start with the script. Okay, our target here is to create micro. Okay, micro. Let's put the micro. Micro means small. Micro survey app form, so that we can use the basic math functions and of course the other commands of your Java. Now a JavaScript. Okay, so we have here a script, and let us first put here the content. Okay, now we'll write here the input process. Okay, so the input process will ask the respondents to enter, of course, the answer. Okay, of the question. So we'll just create our own questionnaire. Okay, now we start with the body. Okay, and then we have here, well, of course, we have the form, and then we should put name. Let's say the name of the form is form 1. Okay, let's use the method. Method equals to post. Okay, so post is used to forward or to post the information in another website. But in this case, we just use post for as part of our JavaScript program. So we start with the header here. So we have here, let's say, center, and then we have here h1. So this is a micro app survey form. Okay, and then we have center. Okay, that's it. Now let us continue. What will happen right here? So let us ask the user to enter the question. So here we have, let's say, center, and then we have here P. Okay, first question is COVID-19 is dangerous. Okay, so we need to tell the user to enter the following. Okay, 1 equals to, okay, let us start with 3 equals to acceptable. Okay, 2 equals to bit acceptable. So the answer here is number 3. This is very useful when you're creating your instruments for your research. Now, I'll just give you an eye opener here how to write your own application in JavaScript to write your instruments. Okay, so we have here 1 cross 2 uncertain. Okay, so this is the first question. All right, let us use here /p and then /center. Okay, let's go to the next line. We have to put here the BR. Okay, after that, what will happen? Okay, we'll copy this thing. Let us copy this first. But before that, okay, we need first to put here input type equals to text, and then we use the variable for the question. We can use the ID, but mine here is to use the variable. So we have here Q1. Okay, and the size should be what? 1, because we need only to enter the number, the integer, for the score. Okay, let us copy this thing. Okay, then let us change the question. So what will happen here? So this is question number 2. Okay, the same question, the same format, and we need only to change the question. COVID-19 is a flu. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next question. Let us change the variable right here. You can write your own variable. Okay. Now, for next question, this is question number 3. COVID-19 is what? Variant of dengue. Okay. So we need to change the variable Q3 right here. Now, we need to close this. So input. So we need to put first the, okay, so we have slash BR. Okay, BR stands for break. Okay. Our target is to create the JavaScript right here. This is just like the representations of your structured program in HTML. Okay, so we need to use input. Oh, I'm sorry, input type equals to, let's reset. So whatever things that you entered, if you want to change that, you can press reset. And then value equals to, okay, reset. So where's the submit button? So submit button is not here, but we need only to omit the submit button and create our own button using our own JavaScript program. Okay, so we end with the form. Okay, after that we create a program. Okay, so we have here, so I think we have here the body, so we need to close the program slash body slash HTML. Now let us check the program again. In our header, if we want to display this as adaptive display, we can use the meta name equals to what? Viewport. I think you're familiar about this thing. This is to adapt what you call this display for your different devices. So we have here width. Oh, sorry, width equals to, okay, device minus width. This is to scale a device, and scale initial equals to 1.0. Okay, just follow this thing. Okay. Later on, we can use this command. No? We can without using the cascading style sheets. Okay, this is how you start with your cascading style sheet. If you want to speed up your work, well, you can use the script command and then search, just like, okay, the repository for your Bootstrap or for your WCS3 as W3 CSS. Okay, we'll discuss that in our next video. But for now, let us first attack this problem. Okay, we need to finish this micro survey app form using your JavaScript. We don't have yet the JavaScript here. We're using what you call this, the HTML. But if let us save a program, so save us. So I want to save this program right now. Okay. Okay, let us save it. So I will save this in my folder. Okay. So I have the folder right here. I will save it here. Let's see. Okay. So I will type this as, all right, w1.standup. Okay. Now when I run this program, let us check that program. Okay, this is the example for that. So we have here file, and then I have C colon, and then for the folder signic, and then w1.html. When you run that program, well, of course we have this program. So let us erase that later on. So this is where we enter our data. Okay, 1, 1, 2, and then we press reset. Automatic, everything will vanish. So we start here. How to solve this problem? It's very easy. Always remember to use the tag. Okay, so we have to put it right here. Okay, so we have here, okay, the slash center. Okay, this is for the first part. Sorry. And then we need to center everything. This is the comment. Okay, everything here. Okay, I'm just putting the comment so that I will not get lost. Okay, so we have here center, And then at the bottom for that, okay, it's only as a matter of pairing, so you put center. And then it's on the program, so that's it. So we have here 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we need to put the submit button right here at the bottom. So how to do that? It's very simple. We need to review our JavaScript program. So if you want to compute the numbers, you can say var x equals to 10. Okay, please check my previous video. Okay, var y equals to 10. Okay, if you want to compute this, well, of course, that's very easy. All right, so all you have to do is to create the total for this and var total equals to, then you can use the parse int x plus y. So if you want to display this, well, of course, you can say console, okay, dot log dot total sum is. So we have to use the concatenation. At the same time, we have here what total. Okay, that's very easy. Please check the description below and find the tutorial for that. Okay, now we start here. What will happen right here? So we need to create a variable here. So var is different from const. Okay, so we have discussed that already in the previous tutorial. So let us use the var. Var is to create a variable in public. So let's say we have the var of, let's say, um, we have here the following variable for that. Okay, but we need to declare the variable here. Okay, how to do that? So we have var. Let's say we have here q1. Okay, so we will use this thing to add the number later on. Okay, so for now we will use this q1. So q1 equals to number. What's the purpose of number? That is your JavaScript data types where you need to convert string to numbers. But again, we can use here also the parse int. Okay, we can use the parse int to parse everything, convert string to numbers, and vice versa. To be safe, we use the number. Okay, how to do that? So we can say document that get element, okay, by ID. This is where we put the output. Okay, this is where we put the output of our data. So instead of using the get element by ID, okay, we will what? Go right here in our form. The name of the form is form1. So this is part of your form, the object. So we need to use the form. So we need to use the document and then use the forms. Okay, forms, and then the name of the form is name. Okay, so we need to use form. Okay, and then you have here the name. Then we put here what? The value. Okay, what's the purpose of this statement? Let's say all the input is right here, and we have the q1, q2, and q3. At the same time, we need to create a variable for q1 for the first question, so that we can address all the elements inside the form. The name of the form is name. The name of the form is name, and the value of that name is, well, of course, the value is what? q1. Okay, we have to check first the syntax. All right, so this is the format. Okay, so here we have here the syntax. Of course, we have the documents. All right, sorry about that. Okay, we'll erase this first. Okay, document, and then we need to, okay, let us put this in proper arrangement. So we have the number. Okay, document dot form, and then we need to put here the name of, well, of course, we have here the name. What's the name of that form? So we have here form1. Okay, and for the form1, we need to identify, okay, the value of the input. So we have here q1. Okay, so we have here q1. At the same time, we need to what? Put what? Value. What's the purpose of value? Okay, this is where, okay, to make the explain more intuitive. So the purpose of value is to get the input from the user, or maybe you can use the value to display the value of the data. It depends to the data type. But here, I'm using it to parse the data as part of the input here in the text type of the field, and of course convert it as an integer because I'm using the number. Okay, so we will copy this thing. Okay, don't forget the grammar. We copy this and then go to the next part. Then we have 2. Okay, so this is now what? Q2. I will repeat. So the syntax is pretty simple. All right, but you can use also this method. Okay, you can use var x equals to, let's say, number, and then you have your prompt. Remember, we discussed this, and then you can enter number. Okay, you can use this thing. Okay, this is how you use that in your console. The number. Okay, after that, what will happen? So we have here the var x. So this is now a number that will accept any what numbers from the user. Okay, now we'll proceed to the next part. Okay, let's finish this because we have 3 questionnaires. Okay, arrange this and then 3, and then we have here Q2 and 3. What is the purpose of document? This is part of your doom. So we can remember in last discussion, there are lots of commands inside the document. You can use the document to display the body. What else? You can use the document to display the active what? Active elements. So this is the purpose of doom. This is where dooms plays its part. Okay. Now you need only to revisit my previous tutorial in JavaScript and please check the description below. So we have here now the program. After that, what will happen? Let us check. Okay, let us now create another variable right here. So we have here var the sum. Okay, so we need to use what? Parse int, and then we can say q1 plus q2 plus q3. Okay, why? Because we need to parse this data at the same time convert this data as an integer using the parse it so that the sum will accept the value of 1, 2, and 3. So what will happen? We have Q1 as input, Q2 and Q3 as input. Okay, let us first erase this thing. Okay, so we have there. Okay, let us edit that. Okay, now so we have here the Q1, Q2, and Q3. What will happen? Okay, first, okay, let us not forget to create our own what? We will create our own uh, let's say what ID here for the output. Okay, so we need to use the ID. Okay, now let's say center, and then we have here h2. Okay, so let's say ID equals to, let's say the ID is result 1, and then we put the period, we can label it, and then center. Okay, that's it. So remember, the ID is result 1 where we channeled our output. So now let's say we have document. Okay, here we go again for the document that get element by ID. This is where we get the element. What's the element? Well, the element is, is your tags. At the same time, it has the label of the address. Where is that element? Element is right here. Your h2, the element of what? Result 2. Element, no. This is not element. This is the element, and of course the ID. Element by ID is result 2. That's what I mean. So we put the result 2 right here. Do you copy? This is where we are telling the the program that we need to put the output here in this ID. Okay, so inner HTML, okay, equals to, we need to put the sum. Okay, let us check the program and run the program. So we have only a very simple JavaScript program right here. So we need to use the number, okay, to parse this data. So far we use the documented forms. The document refers to the forms. We need to read the value from the form 1, and then we need to check, of course, the input, and of course we are telling the computer this is the input that will be processed inside our form. Now when we save the program, okay, let us run it again. Let's check the program and run it. Okay, what will happen if we run the program? Okay, let us arrange these things. Arrange this thing also. Okay, so that we could have a clear screen for that. Okay. Okay, so when we refresh this thing, okay, okay, 1, 3, okay, nothing's happened. Why? We were not able to put the function to display this output. So what is missing right here? The missing right here is to create the function. So what is that function? Maybe we can separate this thing to create our function, or we can say, let's say, we put now the function here. Function get data, and then that is a void function. Okay, so we need to put here the last part of that. Okay, now what will happen? So when we have this get data has the code for this thing. This will be executed, and after that we need to what, write our code right here. So let's say we have here center. This is where we put our code, and then we can say button equals to, well, uh, button. Let's say unclick equals to, and then what's that, the name of the function? The name of the function is what? Get data. Okay. So this is the program for the get data. All right. To get the value from the form, parse the data, and then declare the variable to get the scores. Okay. And channel the score to result 2. Where's that result 2? Okay, we'll change this to result 2. Sorry. It is a bit confusing. Now, center button and click equals to, well, of course, what is the name of the function? Name of the function is get data. Okay, please don't forget that grammar is very important. Okay, so we have here get data. And then we have here click. The value is click, and then, well, of course, we have the button. Now, when we save the program, okay, run the program, so we have the button right here. Let's check. 1, 2, 2, 2. Click. Okay, let us check what happened here. So I think we have a problem right here. I think there is an error right here. Okay, gonna check it. All right, so now this is the result. That's where we display the content of the sum, and we need to produce, of course, the Q1, Q2, and Q3. It's part of the input command. So how to do that? Right, let us now check this thing so that we can see what is the error. Okay, we'll copy that, and of course, when we click that 1, 2, 3, 2, then we click OK. So we have 5. 1 plus 2 is 3, and 2 equals 5. We put the alert here so that we can determine if there is indeed an error in our function. The name of the function is get data. So when we now the next thing is to to write that's the statement that will store the array in a variable. Okay, so we need to store the q1, q2, and q3 in an array. Okay, so how to do that? We declare the variable first var. Okay, let's type first var, and then we have the array1 equals to open and close bracket. This is the symbol for the array. Okay, we need to store the value of q1, q2, and q3 as part of the scores for the survey. Okay, and these are the variables. Okay, now when we store the data to the array, we need to use the array1, and of course we need to call the method as push will append the q1, q2, sorry, and q3 inside the array. Okay, now when we push that, automatically the scores that we entered in the form will be hoarded inside the array1 variable. So let us check if the uh, scores are stored in the array. Okay, let us check this thing. All right, let us run the program and save it. Okay, what happened? We enter. Okay, COVID-19 is dangerous. That's 3. COVID-19 is a flu. That's 2. Okay, COVID-19 is a variant of dengue. Uncertain. That's 1. Okay, so we are assuming that we store this to the array1. Okay, the score is, oh, something's wrong. I think there is a glitches in our code. Okay, we'll check that. Okay, I think is, of course, no, sorry, I'm thinking about Python, so this is not comma. Instead, we use the array1. All right, so we are using the array1 as a variable at the top. This is the array. At the same time, well, of course, we need to push the value of what we entered in the form input field. Okay, so when we run the program, okay, let us save this thing. Let's check again and then run it. So let's just say 3, 2, 1. When we click this, automatically will of course these are the scores 3, 2, 1. I am right, and then you say okay. So the answer is 6. 3 plus 2, that's 5 plus 1 equals 6. Now let us put this in the canvas. How to do that? So we can use the what document dot what document dot get, okay, get element by id, and then we need to use, okay, result 3. Okay, let's put result as our id, right? So we need to put inner what HTML. Then we have here, let's say array1. So let us check if this is correct. Okay, when we put that at the bottom, remember the id is 3. We need to display all the arrays that were stored in array1, and then we need to create another id right here. So let us check it here. So this, the name of the id is, let us check, that is result 3. So let us copy that. That is result 3. Okay, this is for, we'll put the label here. This is for what you call this, for the scores, and we need to save that, and then we need to run the program. Okay, let us do it again. 3, 2, 1. Then we click the program. Okay, these are the scores 3. Okay, so these are the arrays that we use in. These are the scores that we stored in the array. Okay, let us get the max number of this array. How to get the max number? Now, getting the max number is very easy. The algorithm is very easy to get the max or the mean. For the max number, of course, you can create a function for that function max, okay, and then int, okay, we have here x and y. This is the algorithm, okay. So if x is, let's say, greater than y, well, of course, you say what? Return x, okay, and then else, of course, return y. So this is how you create your max function. But we have only 2 parameters for the max function. Well, of course, you can modify this to, to become 10 or 20 parameters. This will return a value at the top of the program. Okay, now in our side, in our case, we will using the, will invoke the math functions of your JavaScript. So how to do that? So we need to put our max function right here. Okay, so we just use this thing. We create another variable. Okay, var, or maybe we can create another function. Okay, so for the function, well, of course, we need to create another button. So let us just fast track our discussion. We'll just continue it next time. So we can say var and then get max. Okay, this is the variable. And then document. Well, of course, we have here get max equals, let's say, document get element by id. Same thing. And then max data. That will be our address or label. Okay, where to put the output equals to, let's say, max. Okay, so we get the max of what? We will get the max of array1. Okay, let us check. Now we have there the array1. So the expression is very pretty easy. You just get the max, and then the array1 now has the value of 3 to 1, or maybe you can change that. Okay, and after that you put it right at the bottom where you place your max data. So in your max data, okay, we'll just copy here, okay, and then put here the max data, okay. Be sure that the spelling is correct, max data. So this is for the max data, okay, max data. Now when we run the program, let us reverse the scores. Let's say 1, 2, 3, click, okay. These are the scores, 1, 2, 3, right? And then click it, okay. So there's the problem with our max data. We're not able to display the max data. There's something wrong with that. Okay, let's just check. Okay, we cannot display it. I think there's an error here. So we need to check our code. So we need to compute the max data. So how to do that? So let us go to the nearest code statement right here so that we can get involved with the statement. Okay, that's the technique. Okay, how to do that? So we need to push our answer at the top after the parse int, and then let us say alert. Okay, the max data is, okay, let us use the program here. Then we have here plus. Then we have here. Okay, let us use the math. Sorry, math max dot Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay. When we run this program, okay, watch. Okay, we'll save this. Let us check it if this is working. Okay. Now we go to the right to the next panel, and then let's say file. Okay, let us load that. 1, 2, 3, then Cynic, and then we change this code to what? w1.html. Okay, let us run the program. So we have here, let's say the maximum data is 4. Okay, 2, 1. Okay, so the max data is 4. Okay, that's right. So we entered 48 here, so it's working. And then these are the scores hoarded in your array. Okay, so we have here 4, 2, 1. Now let us put this the max data right here. How to do that? Now, this is just like you are testing the browser if your statement is right or wrong. So we need to comment this thing now, okay? Or maybe we can deplete this thing. Okay, so how to do that? Let us use the document object model, okay? And then we use to what? Get element by ID. Let us say we have the root 1 here. Let us check at the bottom. We need to check it first. Okay, let us check this and change this to root 1. Okay, now what will happen? Let us continue with the statement. So here we are. We need to output the answer in there. HTML equals to, well, of course, let's put here max data is, okay, we can say plus. Then we put the spacing, and then okay, we forgot to use the math as our main class, and then get the sub functions of the method of max. Okay, and then we put here q1, q2, and q3. Okay, so that's the answer. Let us check if this program will run. Okay, when we save that, run it again. Let's say we have 3, 2, 1. When we run the program, okay, these are the scores 3, 2, 1. Okay, and the max data is 3. Okay, so that is your max data. Now I will give you a little challenge. So you have to do is to write the min function, because the target of this program is to get the mean, the median in the mode. If you want to get the median, it's very easy. All you have to do is to compute the sum of the array. Okay, you can check the my Python tutorial on that. You can get the exact statement and you can transfer it here. The same command, and you get the sum of the array and divide it to the length of the array, and that's the average of the data. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and please improve this code. All you have to do is to improve this code, and please subscribe and share it to your friends. Thank you so much.